Okay, Pyros. 2 mana to 2 elemental disradal, return this to your hand, and as a 6 and that costs 6, and 6 that costs 6 is has a disradal return to your hand as a 10/10. Yeah, so it's like elemental synergy card. I can see it being played in elemental decks. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Pyros is good enough to play by itself without elemental synergy. Like 2/2 for 2 mana, then you get 6/6, and then you get 10/10. Yeah, it's a lot of stats in one card. It only matters if you go for like value game. So I guess for value, mage is pretty good still, even if you don't play elementals. Obviously it's a natural card for elemental mage. Like, I was just trying to figure out if there any reason to play elemental mage right now. I guess Team Surger and this Servant of Kalimus, they're making it look like you can actually play elementals and it won't be as OP. Like, I kind of like Blizzard approach and this expansion. They're making a lot of decent overall cards without making anything like a single card being strictly OP. Like Servant of Kalimus is a 4/5, not a 5/6 in case of Draconid Operative. Good shit on overall, I think. Yeah, like interesting. Like control mage might be a thing, and I can see elemental mage being decent. So Pyros can find a card in elemental mage for sure. And this, like any other grinder mage without elementals, you can also put Pyros in there, because you get like a lot of value from one card. 2/2 6/6 10/10. Not so much tempo at all, but value is pretty good. You can play Nazas Pyros mage with few death rattles in it. Open the Waygate, a mage quest. Cast 6 spells that didn't start in your deck. Reward Time Warp. Time Warp is a 5 mana spell. Take an extra turn. Alright, if you don't have anything like specific targeted approach with your deck when you play mage and you play this secret, I don't think it makes any difference to play it, any reason to play it, right? Because what it does, it gives you 5 mana on turn 10. Because you take extra turn, you spend 5 mana on turn 1, and then you have to play a spell, this spell, which is 5 mana. And then next turn you have all mana you have naturally. Most likely 10, because you probably will complete this quest in turn 10, not earlier. Yeah, so it's like a very slow secret. Like, if you don't expect to complete the secret before turn 10, you're sitting with one card less for 10 turns. Well, it's basically like, if you keep this quest in your hand, that means you keep a 10 drop in your hand. You know, when you're playing like Control Arena Mage and your hand is full of like 7-10 drops you lose normally, you have no ways to react to any threat, really. Yeah, I don't see it like, you can't really play it as an innervate for 5. I mean, gain 5 mana. You have to have an idea. An idea might be, yeah, like all these giants they showed at BlizzCon, at the stream from Blizzard. When you play like Molten Giant, Ice Block, Arcane Giants, and then you play them, and then play Time Warp, and then hit face, and you win the game. So I want to mention that I don't think it will be a competitive deck, because Blizzard don't support OTK game style in general. So it's like a very interesting card, but I don't think it will make a competitive deck with it. It's kind of difficult to pull it off. You have to have all these giants in your hand, and you also will play with one card less until you manage to pull off the combo. That's a big drawback. Also, you have to play a lot of not very efficient cards like Kabbalist Tome. Primordial Glyph, so it's a very good card to have, I think. And Mana Bind. Yeah, you have to find all these ways of generating spells that didn't start in your deck, and it might be awkward sometimes. Yeah, I mean, as I said, it doesn't make sense to play this card unless you have like a plan for it with giants. There might be some sort of freeze mage which is trying to burst you with a lot of burst straight up, but like Icelands is rotating out of the standard, so there'll be no Icelands. There'll be no Emperor Torisan. I don't expect you can ever replace Emperor Torisan with this card, because Torisan was normally giving you like discounts on your 5 burst cards anyway, and it's also a 5/5 creature, right? So yeah, if you play a freeze mage, you can OTK using 15 mana. I guess you can try to OTK using Maligas, but that doesn't really work, right? Because you have to play Maligas and then play a secret and then play this card, the Time Warp, and you don't have 14 mana. So it won't really happen. What you can do, so you can play like Evolved Kobold on turn 10 as a freeze mage, and then play open the Way Gate, and you basically have full turn of casting spells with +2 spell power, and I still don't think it's enough. You want OTK without Icelands, right? Without Emperor Torisan. So it's like a failish approach. You have to play giants. So yeah, it's just a like fun secret for the mage. I don't expect it to be competitive or anything. You don't take such disadvantage just in order to have like 5 mana on extra on turn 10 once. You have to have a plan. Primordial glyph. Discover a spell, reduce its cost by 2. You're discovering a mage spell, and it has a reduced mana cost. It can't really go wrong with this card anyhow. Whether or not you play Open the Way Gate or you don't, this card is very strong in every mage deck. No matter what kind of mage deck you play, it's must have. There's no downside for this. It's very difficult to discover a useless card. And even like useless card can find a good card, can be like good in some cases. Let's say if you get Mirror Entity or kind of spell, played in the right moment, it can change the game. No matter what kind of match you play, this card seems really strong for me. It's supposed to open the Red Gate quest, obviously, but you should play it everywhere, I think. Archanologist. Battle Cry, draw a secret from your deck. Yeah, so if you want to play some secrets, you don't have to play too many. This card is pretty good, right? 2/3 stat line lets you draw a card. There's a new secret in the expansion, Mana Bind. You get a copy of spell whenever your opponent casts a spell. So, I mean, I don't think Counter Spell is weaker than Mana Bind, so you probably should play Counter Spell more. If you play Archanologist, you probably should play Counter Spell over Mana Bind, unless you play a secret, Open the Way Gate, quest, Open the Way Gate. And overall, like you can try to make a Cabal, Lucky, and Kolento Mage, Archanologist, Curve deck. It can be decent, but again, like I don't think it's tier 1 for sure. Only having Archanologist won't change much. Like Mad Scientist was pretty good back in the days, and Mad Scientist is much stronger than Archanologist. It not only draws you a secret, it also puts it in play for 0 mana. This card has 1 more life, but it's not like even as close as Mad Scientist. If Freeze Mage somehow isn't dead without Icelands, you obviously should play it. If you play any type of Grander Mage with Ice Block, Ice Barrier, you should play Archanologist. I don't think there'll be like a tempo list with Mirror Entity. It's not a good enough reason to play secrets only because of Archanologist, I don't think so. But from a bright side, like Mirror Entity is quite powerful, it seems, if meta will really slow down, because people won't play small decks, small tokens, except Hunter and Zoo, I guess. So if you manage to hit a good Mirror Entity, it might work as well, who knows. Yeah, so like Minion 100% good in Ice Block decks, and it has some percentage of being successful in like Mirror Entity, 10 push type of decks. The card is pretty good overall, so drawing a card with 2/3 stat line is nice. If you play secrets, you must play Archanologist as well. Shimmering Tempest, Death Rattle, add a random mage spell to your hand. 2 mana, 2/1 elemental. Yeah, so this guy will help you complete the Open the Way Gate quest. As I said, I'm not really a fan of this quest in general. Will this card find a card in other mage decks? Might be. Like 2/1 stat line is kind of decent. It's like Loot Hodder. I guess not as good as Loot Hodder. because random mage spell is weaker than your own card. It's also an elemental, not to forget. So yeah, you must play it in elemental deck. If you play any type of grinder mage without elemental, so I think you should play a loot hoarder instead. Or maybe not even play a loot hoarder too. Like Bubbling Book seems better than this guy, because you play it on one, you can play it with hero power if you want to. Seems like a natural fit to open the gate deck, and elemental decks. Flame Geyser. Deal 2 damage, add 1/2 elemental to your hand. You can go 2-1 with it. I wouldn't say you should play this card in any other deck other than elemental mage. The point of it is to have this cheap elemental you can slam before playing an elemental synergy card. So it's just a way to generate a 1/2 elemental. It doesn't do enough damage to put it in freeze mage. It doesn't like do enough to put it into an elemental deck. I'm not even sure if it's good enough in elemental mage, to be fair. There are a lot of good neutral elementals to have without having this spell to play. It kind of has synergy with Archmage Antonidas, maybe like other spell synergy cards. Sorcerer's Apprentice. I don't know if you played in Grinder Mage. Yeah, it doesn't feel like broken or anything. Probably will fit in Elemental Mage, not anywhere else. Steam Soldier, 4 mana 5/4. Battle Cry, if you play it an Elementalist turn, add a Flame Geyser to your hand. Yeah, so 4 mana 5/4 draw a card is pretty strong. This card should be a reasoning to play Elementals in general. And I think if you're choosing to play Elementals, you must have this in your deck as well, otherwise why would you even play Elementals? Good card for Elemental deck. Molten Reflection. Choose a friendly minion, summon a copy of it, 4 mana. Wow, interesting. Kind of like a big boy in play. You can play it, you can get a copy for 4 mana. So let's clarify this card. It's a Faceless Shambler without a taunt, but you get a special effect like Death Rattle from it. It's a Faceless Manipulator for 4 mana, except you can't copy a opponent creature. Feels a bit too slow to me, right? You can't expect to have a good creature on board every time. And if it happens, in most cases it won't be like super big anyway. I don't see any synergy with it either. Like the fact that it's a spell. Yeah, I mean, like Sorcerer's Apprentice can work, but you have to have a Sorcerer's Apprentice in play, you have to have Molten Reflection in play. You can pair it with Arcane Giant for the quest. I guess you can, yeah. So yeah, for the quest you can play like Arcane Giants and then like one more Molten Reflection. But the combo should be, yeah, I guess it still makes sense. Like, if you don't have Molten Reflection in your quest deck, then you have to get Alexstrasza for combo. If you want to OTK, you need to get Alexstrasza and 2 Giants. And then you can OTK. If you play Molten, it's kind of difficult, right? You need to draw your whole deck. Emperor, not in standard, bro. Emperor is not in standard. Yeah, but if you have this card, at least one copy of, you can go with triple giant to deal 24 damage, or you can draw only 1 giant and then like Molten Reflected, and then Time Warp, and then go face for with Alexstrasza, play it on next turn to OTK. Discover with the glyph will be good. Yeah, that's a good point. If you play a glyph and discover Molten Reflection, then it's actually really strong, because you can like copy 6 drops very easily on turn 8, just faster this way. Yeah, but the card itself, I think I could play 1 copy in Open the Waygate deck, but as I said, it's not a competitive deck in my opinion, just for fun. It won't find a card in any other deck, so you don't play Faceless Manipulator, you don't play Faceless Shambler, why would you play this? Doesn't make much sense to me. Meteor, 6 mana, spell, deal 50 damage to a minion and 3 damage to adjacent ones. The closest card to compare should probably be Flamelance. It does a ton of damage into a creature, was about same. It kills something for sure, like it's a ton of damage. It also does 3 damage to adjacent ones, adjacent minions. To defend this card, I want to say it's better than Polymorph on 6, it's lower so. Like, you kill something and you deal 3 damage, it's pretty good for Arena, right? It seems like it's good enough for Constructed as well. I consider it as a mini Flame Strike, but you can like deal you can deal with 1 minion for sure. It's also flexible. I think it will find a cut in the slow control mages. And I don't think there'll be any other archetype. I don't see like how aggro mage is good right now. There are no support cards for it, so there's no way to make aggro mage be good without new cards introduced. Like tempo mage is losing Flamewaker. It can't be a good deck anymore, right? Without Flamewaker. Yeah, so card seems pretty good. Deal with creature, deal 3 damage to giant creatures. I would say 2 off in any type of control mage. It will get a bit weaker because of adapt creatures. You can choose to like make your creature untargetable, but it won't happen too often really. Then you can just simply not play Meteor and keep it for next turn maybe.